Hi everyone, Eugene here at Panasonic Europe, and in this quick video tutorial, I'm excited to share with you 3 quick tips on how to set up the camera for stunning travel portraits. So we're talking about the L10, and the first one is something that is really cool, really specific to the L10, which is that on this particular camera, let me just show you here with a bit of a close-up on the other one, we have this really cool aperture ring. So what this allows us to do is actually change the aperture directly on the camera. And why is this important for travel portrait photography, you may ask? Well, depending on the situation and depending on the scene that you're finding yourself in, it's really helpful to be able to change the aperture from really wide, so you can get that really nice out of focus area, that really nice depth of field, to really sharp. So if you want to switch to a situation where your portrait is completely, the background of the portrait is completely defocused, it just takes a second and you basically change this to 1.7 and it's really nice, really bright, beautiful, creamy bokeh. Or maybe you want the portrait and everything behind and the background to be crisp and clear. That's when you go all the way to the other end, somewhere around 11 to 15 is kind of like the sweet spot. And that's where you can get the portrait nice and sharp, but everything else behind in the foreground, in the background and in the foreground is going to be in focus. So that's tip number 1. Make sure to make use of this beautiful aperture ring. As you use it, it's going to become more and more familiar and it's going to become part of your workflow, and that's what that's designed to do. So the second one is actually another option that's also right next to that aperture ring, which is this function switch. So again, just to show you really briefly what I'm talking about, we also have a dedicated video just going over how you can customize this, but this particular function switch can be used for different types of settings. So what we're going to do, my favorite option that I'd like to add to that is to actually have a step zoom. So basically we can set that particular switch to go between 3 different focal lengths, just mimicking 3 different lens selections. So if we're talking about portraits, maybe you want to have a wider lens, you want to have a bit of a close-up like a 50mm, so let's go with 24, 50, and then one that's a little bit closer with a little bit more background separation and a lot more bokeh, like a 70. So how do we set this up? Just really briefly, I'm going to show you now. We're going to jump into the menu and then scroll until you see this settings cog, go to the right to operation, and then go to the FN switch or function switch setting. Select that, and then select function to assign, which is the first one. We're going to do that. We're going to set that to step zoom, like I said. So we're just going to go with that. And then again, we already have the 24. Let's set that to 50. And then the last one to 70. So how does this actually work in practice? If you go out of the menu, let's just try to do like an aperture priority here, so it's a little bit easier to set the exposure. Let's say I'd like to quickly switch to 50mm. If I had to do that with the existing zoom lever, it might take me a while to actually go in and tweak this until it's to my liking. Or I can just use the function switch, 1, 2, and it goes straight to 50. Right? So you can see how quickly and how easy it is to actually go and switch to the desired focal length. So that was tip number 2, setting the function switch to step zoom so you can get the different focal lengths, simulating different lens effects that you would have that all built into this beautiful camera. So what is the third tip? That's a really cool new feature that has been introduced to the camera, which is to add a soft skin effect. So we've all been in this situation. You're out, you're on your holiday, beautiful day outside. You want to take beautiful portrait. You have to go and do some editing. What this does, it does that editing for you in camera. so you can just post it to your socials right away. So once again, let's jump into the menu and I can show you how you can do that. So back into the menu, go all the way to the second option. To the first option here with the camera, the second image quality setting. Then go to the right and select soft skin effect. And we actually get 3 different levels of the effect to be applied. I'd actually recommend starting with low, taking a couple test shots, reviewing them, and then moving up to standard and high only if necessary. Essentially, what this setting does is very similar to what you would do if you're using something like Photoshop or Lightroom and you want to basically make the image a little bit softer, but it only does it specifically on the portrait, where it has skin basically on your portrait. So the higher you take it, the more visible it's going to be, and it might give you an unwanted effect. So that's why the tip is start low and then increase it as you need, because the lighting conditions, the exposure settings that you've used, all will impact the final product. So take a look at that. So just to recap, the first one, make sure you use the aperture ring, customize the function switch to the step zoom, and then thirdly, enable soft skin, and you're ready to go, ready to post your images. So hopefully this helps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.